So I know the following scenario is going to hit home for all too many of you. You're having pain in, let's say, your knee. You go to the doctor, takes an x-ray, and he says something like, "Oh my God, you're bone on bone." What? This sounds absolutely terrifying. Most likely, the reason is you have arthritis. But what actually is arthritis? How common is it? What can you do about it? And why is it not really the death sentence that it's made out to be? We're talking about all that and more in today's episode. Welcome to Fearless Fridays, where we are talking about everything health and wellness related. My name is Dr. Melissa Chofi. I am the owner of New Quest Physical Therapy, a mobile practice serving areas in New York and Connecticut. There is so much misinformation out there in regard to the medical field, and with our healthcare model increasingly putting profits over patients, you as consumers need to be given all the tools you need to demand what you deserve, ensuring a strong, resilient, fulfilled, and fearless life. My goal is to empower all of you to stand up for yourselves and be able to call bullshit in a realm that is confusing as fuck. Let's get into the episode. The most common form of arthritis is probably what we're all familiar with, and this is called osteoarthritis, or OA for short. So OA can affect almost all the major joints in your body, including your hips, your knees, your shoulder, even the little joints in your hands and your toes. And then, believe it or not, in your spine, there's a bunch of little tiny joints that osteoarthritis can also affect. And as we spoke before, a couple of weeks ago, this is called stenosis of the spine. So what happens is you have two bones and then cartilage that is basically like kind of like not a shock absorber, but it transmits forces to protect your bones in between those two bones. You have the two bones and you have the cartilage encapsulating the edges of those bones. Over time, because of use, normal wear and tear, that cartilage gets weighed or shaved down. And this is where that terrible bone on bone expression comes from that I absolutely fucking hate. But it's not a death sentence if you are diagnosed with this. The fact of the matter is that OA can affect people as young as 20 years old, and you might have it and not even realize that you have it. Again, don't freak out. It's not a death sentence. There are things that you can do. Also, everybody who has OA, even in the same joints, are going to experience symptoms differently if they are having symptoms. So some of these symptoms can include pain, swelling, stiffness. There's like that grinding sound. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that I have osteoarthritis in my knees, because every time I go up and down the stairs, every time I do a squat, every time I do a lunge, I feel and hear a grinding. However, the grinding and clicking that you might be feeling in your joints doesn't necessarily mean that there's something bad that's happening. It doesn't mean that you need to stop doing those activities that are causing the grinding and the clicking, because it's not doing a detriment to your body despite what you've been told. So the fear mongering with OA is insane, and it comes from everybody in the healthcare realm, and it drives me crazy because it really limits people's lives and it really scares them from doing things that they love. So as long as you don't have pain with the clicking and the grinding and all of that, what you're doing is perfectly okay. And yes, that even includes running. And while we're talking about the scare factor method, let's add some stuff there, because if you have OA, you're probably going to hear this shit. OA is a disease. There's no cure for it. And your doctor might even look at your x-ray and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so surprised you're still walking." And this shit all drives me fucking insane, because it all plays into that fear mindset. So as we've been speaking about, your nervous system and your brain are very smart. They take that fear, they protect you from whatever dangerous motion that you might be having or experiencing, and then it's that your body is then taught to learn how to limit those movements. So movements that might actually be helpful in stopping the progression of your OA, or retraining those muscles around the joint to work to accommodate loads the joint itself can't really do or be, you know what I mean. I can't even speak. I'm so fired up. So it might be preventing you from doing the things that you actually need to do. That's what I meant to say. And I'm not going to edit that out because this is real. And we all experience this. And it's so freaking common and it makes me really angry. So, in reality, the arthritis itself is not the cause of your pain, despite what you've been told. Your ability to load is. So, over time, for me, I know that where my weaknesses lie in my legs. This might be what contributed to my knee arthritis. So over time, if you're going through those compensations and you're working through those compensations and not using your muscles and your body optimally or efficiently, that is why there's going to be that wear and tear on those joint structures and why that OA is going to occur in the first place. The actual inability to load correctly and take on loads and use all of your muscles together as a system is where the problem lies, not in the OA itself. And a lot of people will be like, well, but I exercise all the time. And I'll dig deeper and I'll say, well, what do you mean by exercise? And they'll be like, oh, well, I have a very active job, so I'm on my feet all day as a waitress. Okay, cool. Like you're moving most of the day. And then I'll dig deeper and I'll say, are you strength training? No. Are you doing any mobility work beyond the walking? No. Are you doing any flexibility work? Any balance work? Any of that? No. So not all exercise is created equally. The walking itself is great, don't get me wrong, but it's probably not the exercise you need at this point. So the best thing for OA, just because to maintain the bone health and to strengthen the structures around that joint line, is strength training and resistance training. And when I say this, I don't mean like lifting a 5-pound dumbbell, unless a 5-pound dumbbell is challenging for you, but I mean like actually pushing real weight to build those muscles and build that resilience. And the only way, if you're not really sure how to do this, the only way to accommodate that and to get an effective programming structure and get effective progressions is working with a professional. So that's something that I work with my clients all the time, whether they're experiencing OA right now or they want to prevent it from progressing in the future. We work a lot on this strength, stability, flexibility. All of those need to be incorporated for appropriate joint health. Just so you know, as a disclaimer also, this will not cure osteoarthritis. There is not a cure, but again, that's not a death sentence. It's scare tactics. Don't buy into the hype. So again, OA is not a death sentence. If you have been told that you're bone on bone, or your MD is surprised that you're still walking, or any of the stupid bullshit rhetoric that I hear all the time and that I've given examples of, and you have not explored strength training, flexibility, or stability training with a professional, and you would like to get a second opinion, by all means, please contact me. Please see a viable physical therapist who is well-versed in this area and well-versed in strength and conditioning, because that might actually be a conservative measure that helps you and helps you ward off these ridiculous medications and surgeries that only mask the symptoms and don't help with the actual source of the problem. These are some things that you can do. I really suggest trying them if you haven't. You really need to learn how to properly load your structures and be able to take on everyday life through those joints without compensation. And trained professionals can help you do that. So just keep educating yourselves, guys. Keep asking questions. Demand better of your healthcare. And most importantly, stay fearless. And we'll see you next week.